All right, so today I'm just going to talk about dirt biking for a little bit. I'm out here with the dirt bike, and honestly, there's just something different about riding off road compared to driving a normal car. With a car, you're obviously on a road most of the time. Everything is smooth, there's lanes, traffic lights, signs, and you're basically following the same path that everyone else uses. With a dirt bike, it's completely different because the terrain itself becomes part of the ride. Right now, I'm just getting everything ready before I start riding. I'm checking the bike, making sure everything looks good, and getting myself ready. I always think it's better to take a minute before riding instead of just jumping on and immediately taking off. Once you're actually riding, one of the biggest things you notice is how much you have to pay attention to the ground. You can't just stare straight ahead the entire time. You're constantly looking for rocks, bumps, holes, mud, loose dirt, branches, and everything else that could change how the bike feels. Even a small bump can feel completely different depending on how fast you're going and what angle you hit it at. That's probably one of the things I like most about dirt biking. Every part of the trail can feel different. You can ride the same area multiple times and still have a different experience because the dirt changes, the conditions change, and you might take a different line each time. When you're riding, you also start getting a better understanding of how the bike moves underneath you. You're not just sitting there like you would in a car. You're moving with the bike, shifting your weight, adjusting your position, and reacting to the terrain. When the ground gets rough, you can really feel everything through the bike. And honestly, that's what makes it fun. It's not necessarily about going as fast as possible. Sometimes just riding around and getting comfortable with the bike is more enjoyable than trying to push yourself constantly. You start learning how the throttle feels, how quickly the bike responds, how much braking you need, and how the bike behaves when the ground isn't perfectly flat. The more you ride, the more natural those things start feeling. Another thing about dirt biking is that you really have to respect the environment you're riding in. A trail can look easy from far away, but once you're actually on it, you realize there are a lot more things to pay attention to. You might see a hill and think, that's easy, but then you get closer and notice the surface is loose or uneven. That's why I think it's important to ride within your ability instead of trying to copy someone who's been riding for years. There's always going to be somebody faster than you. There's always going to be somebody doing bigger jumps or riding more difficult trails. That doesn't mean you have to do the same thing. You can just enjoy riding at your own pace and gradually get better. And one of the coolest things is when you finally get comfortable with something that used to feel difficult. Maybe there's a section of trail that you were nervous about the first time. You go through it slowly, figure out the best line, and then eventually you can ride through it without even thinking about it as much. That's when you know you're improving. Dirt biking also gives you a completely different feeling from regular exercise. You're obviously moving around a lot, especially when you're riding for a while, but you don't really notice it because you're focused on the ride. You're using your arms, legs, core, and basically your whole body to control yourself and the bike. After riding for a while, you can definitely feel it. Your arms can get tired, your legs can get tired, and if you're riding over rough terrain for a long time, you really start realizing how much work you're actually doing. But that's part of what makes it satisfying. You finish riding, you're covered in dirt, you're tired, and you know you actually did something. And then there's the sound of the bike